Certain people seem to occupy a permanent space in our thoughts. Without warning, their faces, gestures, or even small details repeatedly surface, as if carrying a hidden meaning. Carl Jung viewed such phenomena as messages from the unconscious, a profound invitation to explore what lies beyond the reach of the conscious mind. Behind these recurring thoughts, there is more than mere memories or random emotions. Jung believed that the human mind operates in layers. On the surface, we deal with the conscious, but on a deeper level, the unconscious houses symbols, archetypes, and repressed experiences. When someone persists in your thoughts, it's not necessarily about who they are, but what they represent within you. This person might symbolize qualities you value or aspects you prefer to avoid. For example, if you admire someone for their courage or determination, it could reflect untapped potential within yourself. Conversely, if someone stirs discomfort or irritation, they might symbolize fears, insecurities, or even traits you reject in yourself. These thoughts act as signals from the unconscious, pointing to areas of the psyche that need attention and integration. The unconscious, as Jung described it, is like a vast house with many rooms, some well lit, others locked and forgotten. These forgotten rooms hold parts of you that remain unexplored or unaccepted. When someone becomes a recurring presence in your mind, it may be a sign that something from those rooms is trying to emerge. A persistent thought, for instance, might evoke a repressed desire or unresolved emotion, demanding that you address lingering issues. Instead of dismissing these signals, ask yourself, what is this person trying to show me? What emotions or memories do they bring to the surface? These reflections can serve as a starting point for transforming your thoughts into tools for self-awareness. Rather than obstacles, they become invitations to explore and integrate hidden parts of your psyche. Within everyone lies a shadow, a concept Jung described as the collection of traits, desires, or emotions we repress or deny throughout life. These parts don't disappear. They continue to influence our thoughts, behaviors, and even how we relate to others. The shadow is formed from everything we deem inappropriate or unacceptable, whether due to social, familial, or internal pressures. When someone persistently occupies your thoughts, it could be because they are activating aspects of your shadow. For instance, you might admire someone for their authenticity and spontaneity. This admiration could signal that you've repressed these qualities in yourself, perhaps out of fear of judgment or the belief that they wouldn't be valued. On the other hand, feeling irritated by traits like arrogance or stubbornness might indicate that you also possess these characteristics but prefer not to acknowledge them. The shadow is not merely a collection of negative traits. It also holds suppressed talents, passions, and potentials. Perhaps you've stifled your creativity or desire to take risks because, at some point, you deemed those traits improper or out of reach. When someone awakens these dormant elements, the unconscious is signaling that it's time to reclaim them. Working with the shadow isn't easy. It requires courage to face what you avoid in yourself. Yet, this exploration is deeply transformative. Imagine choosing to confront these parts rather than ignoring or fearing them. You'll find that the initial discomfort gives way to clarity and a renewed sense of wholeness. To begin, observe the patterns in your thoughts about this person. Ask yourself, what about them most attracts or irritates me? Do I recognize any of that in myself? By reflecting on these questions, you can identify repressed traits and start integrating them into your personality. This process doesn't eliminate challenging characteristics but transforms your relationship with them, allowing you to use them more consciously. Recognizing and working with the shadow not only improves your relationship with yourself, but also transforms your relationships with others. When you accept your repressed parts, fixations and obsessions about others lose their grip. Instead of being a nuisance, these thoughts become opportunities for growth and emotional discovery. Carl Jung identified two essential archetypes within the human unconscious: the anima, representing feminine aspects within the male psyche, and the animus, symbolizing masculine aspects within the female psyche. These archetypes go beyond gender, reflecting universal qualities such as intuition, sensitivity, strength, and logic. When balanced, they contribute to emotional and psychological development. However, when neglected or repressed, they can create internal imbalances that manifest as challenging thoughts or relationship. For instance, an imbalance in the anima may lead to emotional disconnection or exaggerated sentimentality, while an unbalanced animus might result in excessive rigidity or a lack of confidence. When someone evokes persistent thoughts, they might be awakening these archetypes within you, signaling the need to restore balance and harmony. When someone occupies your mind persistently, it is rarely a random occurrence. It is a call to explore the hidden dynamics of your psyche, an opportunity to understand yourself more deeply. By recognizing the symbolic significance of these thoughts, you open the door to self-discovery and transformation. Rather than viewing these recurring thoughts as distractions, embrace them as guides, leading you toward greater self-awareness and wholeness. As Jung emphasized, by integrating the unconscious into consciousness, we become more complete, capable of navigating life with clarity and purpose. When someone persistently occupies your thoughts, it may reflect the emergence of your anima or animus from the unconscious. For instance, a man might fixate on a woman who radiates empathy and creativity, qualities he admires but has not yet integrated within himself. Similarly, a woman may admire or reject assertive traits in another person, signaling that her animus is activated but unbalanced. These archetypes are not static, they evolve as we grow. Imagine someone who has always focused on being logical and practical but feels an inexplicable lack of emotional connection. Thinking about someone who seems spontaneous or intuitive could be the unconscious signaling the need to balance those qualities. Conversely, a highly emotionally sensitive person might feel drawn to or uneasy around someone who projects strength and objectivity, indicating the need to develop those traits internally. Understanding the anima and animus is essential for integrating these qualities in a healthy way. This doesn't mean changing who you are entirely, but recognizing that everyone possesses a dynamic balance of these energies. For example, someone who admires another's sensitivity might ask, "How can I be more receptive to my own emotions?" Similarly, if you reject a trait like authority in someone, you could reflect, "Am I avoiding being assertive in important areas of my life?" When these energies are repressed, they can manifest in distorted ways, such as obsessions, idealizations, or conflicts in relationship. The unconscious uses these fixations as reminders that something important needs attention. Recognizing this dynamic allows you to regain balance and use these energies to strengthen your identity and improve your relationship. Working with anima and animus requires reflection and practice. Ask yourself, what about this person evokes admiration or discomfort? How might these qualities relate to something I need to develop within myself? Such questions help transform recurring thoughts into valuable insights, guiding you toward greater inner balance. By integrating anima and animus, you realize that these energies are not opposites but complement. Balancing them brings emotional clarity, more conscious decision-making, and authentic relationship. The person who once seemed like a fixation becomes a symbol of your journey toward self-discovery. Projection is a fascinating and inevitable psychological mechanism described by Carl Jung as the tendency to attribute characteristics, emotions, or desires to others that we fail to recognize in ourselves. It's as if the unconscious uses others as mirrors, reflecting parts of ourselves that we'd rather avoid, reject, or fail to notice. This dynamic can be both positive and negative, shaping how we perceive and interact with others. When someone repeatedly occupies your thoughts, it may be because they are serving as a screen for your projections. For example, you may deeply admire someone's determination. Often, this admiration reflects an internal potential you have yet to develop. Conversely, feeling irritation or discomfort toward traits like arrogance or stubbornness may point to characteristics you reject in yourself but need to acknowledge. Projection isn't inherently bad or wrong. It's a natural function of the unconscious. The challenge arises when we are unaware that we're projecting. This can lead to unrealistic expectations, unnecessary conflicts, or exaggerated idealizations. For instance, if you admire someone's courage, you might expect them to always be strong, not realizing that this expectation stems from your own need to cultivate that quality. To begin understanding your projections, pay attention to your emotional reactions toward this person. Ask yourself, what about them most attracts or bothers me? Are these qualities present within me, either repressed or unbalanced? These questions help identify the internal aspects your unconscious is trying to bring to light. A practical example might involve someone you perceive as incredibly self-assured. Their confidence could represent a trait you wish to embody but have suppressed due to past experiences, such as criticism or failure. Similarly, if you feel rejection toward someone you see as arrogant, it might indicate that you are avoiding adopting a more confident stance out of fear of being perceived the same way. Recognizing your projections is the first step toward reclaiming your emotional autonomy. By understanding that what you admire or reject in others often reflects something within yourself, you can redirect that energy inward. Rather than fixating on others, use these perceptions to strengthen your identity and address aspects that need attention. This process allows you to develop greater self-awareness, emotional balance, and healthier relationship. Over time, you'll find that the people who occupy your thoughts become less of a mystery and more of a pathway to understanding your own psyche. By embracing this journey, you cultivate a deeper connection with yourself and unlock the potential for profound personal growth. This process also transforms your relationship. By reducing projections, you begin to see people as they truly are, free from the expectations or idealizations created by your unconscious. This creates more authentic and healthier connections, based on mutual respect and understanding. Projection, ultimately, is a powerful opportunity for self-knowledge. Each emotion or thought projected is an invitation to explore and integrate parts of your psyche that may be hidden. When you accept this invitation, what once seemed like an obsession or conflict becomes a valuable tool for personal and emotional growth. Synchronicity, as described by Carl Jung, is one of the most intriguing concepts in psychology. It explains how seemingly unrelated events can be interconnected by deep meaning, rather than through a cause-and-effect relationship. It is as if the external world reflects what is happening in our unconscious, using meaningful coincidences to capture our attention. When someone occupies your thoughts and you begin to notice coincidences involving that person, such as hearing their name repeatedly or encountering something that reminds you of them, it may be that these experiences are not entirely random. These occurrences could be signals from the unconscious, trying to reveal something that needs to be understood or addressed. Synchronicity is neither magical nor superstitious. Jung viewed these events as a symbolic connection between the inner and outer world. For example, if you often think of someone and then encounter an object that belonged to them or hear a song associated with them, it could be a reminder to explore the feelings or issues they represent in your life. These coincidences often arise during times of uncertainty or transition. Imagine you are reflecting on an important decision, and suddenly, something seemingly random happens that points toward one of the possible paths. It could be a book opened to a page that directly addresses your situation or a conversation that unexpectedly discusses the dilemma you are facing. These moments are invitations to pay attention to what your unconscious is suggesting. To identify synchronicity in your life, observe your emotional reactions when these coincidences occur. Ask yourself, why did this capture my attention? How does this connect to my current thoughts or feelings? An example might be frequently recalling someone with whom you had a conflict and then starting to see that person's name in unexpected places. This could be a sign that unresolved issues need to be confronted or processed internally. These events not only illuminate hidden areas of your psyche but also offer opportunities for transformation. They help connect the dots between what you feel internally and what is happening around you, bringing clarity to situations that once seemed confusing or meaningless. Synchronicity is a powerful reminder that the internal and external aspects of life are deeply connected. When you begin to notice and interpret these signs, what once seemed random transforms into a rich narrative full of meaning. These moments not only provide answers but also guide you toward deeper and more integrated growth. Recurring thoughts about someone might seem confusing or even uncomfortable, but they carry important messages from the unconscious. To understand them, a reflective and practical process is necessary to interpret what your mind is trying to communicate. This process can be broken down into 3 essential steps: reflect, analyze, and act. The first step is to reflect. Carefully observe the feelings that arise when this person occupies your mind. What exactly do you feel? Admiration, longing, guilt, anger, or confusion? Identifying these emotions is crucial because they act as clues to what is happening on deeper levels. For example, if thinking about this person evokes sadness or melancholy, it could be a sign of unresolved issues in your relationship with them or even with yourself. Next, move on to analysis. Ask yourself why these emotions are associated with this person. Do they represent something greater in your life? Perhaps a quality you value or a significant moment that shaped your trajectory. For example, you might admire someone for their resilience and realize that this person symbolizes an inner strength you wish to develop. Similarly, resentment or discomfort might point to past traumas or repressed aspects of yourself that need attention. This analysis can be uncomfortable but is essential to uncovering the hidden meanings behind recurring thoughts. Ask yourself, what is this person reflecting about me? What aspects of my psyche are they awakening? For instance, a person you see as arrogant may reflect a part of you that avoids asserting yourself confidently for fear of appearing the same way. Alternatively, someone who inspires admiration might symbolize potentialities you have yet to explore. Finally, it's time to act. Based on what you've reflected and analyzed, use this information to make practical and internal changes. If you've identified qualities you admire, think about ways to incorporate them into your life. For example, if you admire someone's courage, ask yourself, how can I bring more courage into my daily decisions? Conversely, if these thoughts are tied to internal conflicts, consider finding ways to reconcile with yourself or even with the person, if appropriate. Action is what turns awareness into change. This might involve small steps like journaling your reflections or larger decisions, such as seeking therapy or developing habits that strengthen your connection with yourself. The key is to move beyond reflection and start applying what you've learned. Decoding recurring thoughts requires patience and curiosity. Often, we are quick to avoid our feelings or distract our minds, but listening to what the unconscious has to say can be transformative. Every persistent thought is an open door to self-knowledge and personal growth. By understanding and integrating these messages, you regain your emotional autonomy. Thoughts that once felt uncontrollable become allies, helping you identify your needs, desires, and areas for development. In doing so, you move closer to a more balanced and self-aware version of yourself. Recurring thoughts about someone are not mere distractions. They represent an invitation from the unconscious to explore deeper issues that often go unnoticed in the rush of daily life. Each memory, emotion, or idea associated with this person may carry valuable messages about who you are and the paths you need to take to grow and transform. When you interpret these thoughts with attention and curiosity, you realize they are not obstacles but tools for self-discovery. What once seemed like an uncomfortable fixation becomes an opportunity to identify your needs, understand your emotions, and integrate important aspects of your psyche. If you wish to deepen your inner journey and unlock your true potential, I invite you to explore my ebook Alchemy and Archetypes, Exploring Inner Transformation Through Jungian Psychology. Inside, you'll find practical exercises and powerful insights based on Jungian psychology to apply directly to your life. And if this content brought value to you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share it with someone who could benefit from this message.